started seeing this incredible phenomenon, and that was collector cars were 50% of the traffic. People were taking the old pickup trucks out, not the $95,000 ones probably, but they were taking their convertible MG out. They were taking a bunch of neat cars. And what does that say? This is something that works in another era. You can social distance in a convertible or any collector car. You can enjoy the roads when they were formerly packed with cars. So for every event that happens, there seems to be a silver lining, and as long as that continues, this marketplace will stay quite strong.
Do you want a bigger Black Swan event than COVID? You already had the Black Swan event.
I mean, we're always on the lookout for another Black Swan.
But when it happens again, and to your point about people going into hard assets when the stock market collapsed, that's what happened with the last two cycles of the stock market. And people went to real estate, art, automobiles, whatever it was. If anything, if this thing hiccups and it happens again and everybody locks down, it's going to get bigger. And I'm agreeing with you, but I think another Black Swan event might prove, that human element to this where we all want to stay connected.
I think there's one dampener I could probably put in there. We haven't seen inflation for a long, long time. And if inflation goes up a lot, you can actually make a bit of money with your savings account sitting there. And that might change a little bit because you will then get a return on your money immediately without having to invest it in an old car or assets. So that might be a slight change we might see.
Yeah.
Hi, I think you guys touched on it a bit earlier, but I wanted to ask a question about the responsibility of manufacturers, not from a legal standpoint, but from basically like a moral standpoint, to support their older cars and provide parts.
Moral standpoint? You out of your mind?
For instance, Mercedes-Benz, they have the Classic Center. I have a 95 Mercedes. I can go into the dealership and get almost any part I need. A lot of other manufacturers, that's not the case. And I want to know just maybe what you guys thought about that and what manufacturers should do to support older vehicles.
Well, in Mercedes' case, they found that the Classic Center is actually a profit center, and I think for a lot of the companies, JLR has actually been more successful in selling cars that were 40, 50, 60 years old than they are doing anything modern. What do you guys think?
No, I think Mercedes-Benz and Porsche are the outliers in that group, and I think a great many manufacturers just look at the bottom line. Management teams have changed over the years and over the years and over the years, and a great many of them never look backwards. I mean, Ferrari, Mafia, or the Illuminati, whatever you want to call them, they do the classic day stuff. They figure
is your
that's
bad, like
something
it?
they built. If you think about that, your head will explode. But it's
about cars.
most of them are not interested in anything that they're not making right now. And from experience, everything has a sell-by date. And once everything gets old, they may sell all of their old stores of parts to a third party where you can then get them. But in most instances, in Mercedes-Benz, thankfully, you got the right car with the right manufacturer, and Porsche. But other than that,
the difference is the quality of the brand. I mean, the Mercedes brand has been there from day one. Obviously, they've always supported it. There's not a lot that's new in that. It's expensive, of course, but they've supported it. And some of the brands have struggled to survive as at all, let alone support a heritage today. But the great thing is, I think that more and more of them appreciate that there's value in it. They want to be at these events. We see the motor manufacturers at all, a lot of historic events. That shows interest and trying to support the hobby.
Anybody else?
Do you think the valuations, the crazy valuations on BAT are translating to in-person events? Is it fall off there, or what's happening in person?
I'll take that one. I think that Bring a Trailer gives permission to people to buy a car for in that range. So they've seen it sell on Bring a Trailer. And Steve, I'm looking for backup from you on this. So when Steve is selling a car and he says, "Hey, listen, one sold just like it for $225,000. I only want $200,000." That makes a big difference. And so, those outliers, they are outliers. And, you do a scatter graph and you see these things that are up there where most of them are down there. A lot of the times, that car might have a lot of special things with it, with Bring a Trailer. It might only have 250 miles and Steve's car might have 2,500 miles. But that becomes the new high, but it doesn't become the new normal. So it's real important that we see those things in the marketplace and that we pay attention to them, because they can also be predictors. Sometimes they're not just one-off, often they are predictors.
No, I agree with you, David, 100%.